Now, a lot has been said about the issue of brain disease in football over the last couple of years, but that's mostly come from researchers and campaigners. But I'm here at the Johnny Rocks today to talk to people who actually work in football and see if, in their opinion, what can be done to reduce exposure to headers.
I don't know, I've always been forgetful, so I don't know whether I can put it down to heading footballs. Obviously I've headed tens of thousands of balls over the years. You spend, hours and hours, even after training, heading balls. So I don't know. I think there's the most important thing is the science behind it now. There's obviously a lot of evidence being collected and research being done to try and find sort of proven markers that it does have a direct impact on whether it's dementia or all sorts of these different things. So it's something that I'm as interested as anyone else in to see is in terms of whether there is an actual science behind it. I know there's been certain links and there's people campaigning for things, but the players, I don't think the players not done any extras after training at the minute because they're worried about what might happen. It's a really interesting time because we do need to try and find out with the research and if there is direct links between one and the other, which I know people are saying there is, and some people are saying there aren't. I'd imagine it can't be brilliant for you. It's like in the NFL, there's with the concussion protocols and things like that. I know there has been a lot of science into that, so we need to go into that sort of depth.
I think first and foremost there needs to be more education about recognising head injuries. Everyone can see a bruise, they can see a rolled ankle, they can see swelling, but obviously in your head you can't. And so I think players need to understand and recognise that what actual head injuries are, that it happened. We try and get that information across to them at the start of each season and understand any rule changes or any length of time that they're going to be out. But it's one of those where players are trying to get around it a little bit because they know that they've taken an impact to the head and they might just kind of they don't want to lose their place in the team, so they might just go, yeah, no, it's fine. So it's for me it's about educating them and understanding the player and recognising if the player changes.
It's a really difficult one in terms of, because even if it was proven, I don't know how because I imagine there'd be a lot of teenage kids and say, look, there's a chance this could happen, so do you still want to be a footballer? And I imagine a lot of them would still say yes. So so it's how you sort of factor that in and maybe reduce it in the younger age groups and things like that. But there wasn't any, no one would come in, and youth team players now, even the players get presentations now on whether it's gambling, all types of addiction and depressions and all things like that, but there was nothing like that when I was playing.
I believe it's the only injury that I can actually say to the manager that he's got to come off. Players can, in theory, say that they want to carry on with like a knee injury or an ankle injury, but the head injuries, it's black and white that they're coming off. So yeah, very serious.
You see players and they were clearly concussed, but they want to play on. It's taken out their hands now. It's taken out my hands. So when the doc runs on the pitch now, and she said he's concussed, I can't argue with her. Whereas years ago, the doc would get sort of silence as if to say, shut up, he's playing because we need him. So there are things that can be helped or put in to help even save one life or one person from it needs to be done. But it's important that the scientists and the people who aren't actually involved in it can come and say, right, we need to do this. And I'm sure, as with the concussion, people within football will change. I don't think you're ever going to stop people heading the ball because it's part of the game. You have to reinvent the game to have no heading, but particularly with growing kids and developing bodies and minds and brains and all things like that, if there's any way of helping and delaying and prolonging, then 100% I think football would embrace it.
So one major point there was the concussion substitutes, which both say are really important for the game, and that's only a very new thing. So new rules coming in. Michael, as he said, the game is adaptable and the game must adapt based on what the science is saying. So now it's time for football authorities, the FA, the Premier League, the EFL, to take a look at the science and start introducing rules to protect players.